One of the top Democrats in our state Senate faces an ethics complaint over an alleged conflict of interest. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Jenna Shortle. We're talking about DFL Senate President Bobby Joe Champion and accusations around pro bono legal work he did for a founder of a Twin Cities violence prevention group. Danny's been following this story all week, and he joins us now to catch us up.
Well, Janice, Senator Champion has authored legislation to provide millions in state funding to 21 Days of Peace, a group led by Reverend Jerry McAfee. But Republicans in the Senate say he broke the chamber's rules by not disclosing previous legal work he did for McAfee's groups.
As we are entrusted with this office.
In his district that covers North Minneapolis, DFL Senate President Bobby Joe Champion has worked closely with Reverend Jerry McAfee.
You got to be on time.
Founder of the group known as 21 Days of Peace.
These are community-based organizations dedicated to reducing violence.
After sponsoring a bill in 2023 that provided $3 million to 21 Days of Peace, Champion proposed another $1 million this session, which didn't make it into the larger spending bill. During the legislative process, Champion never disclosed that he previously represented McAfee on multiple legal cases in 2022, although both say that work was free of charge.
Here where you have a specific group that a legislator funds money to, and then they have connections, real close ties to it, we have some real concerns about that.
Now GOP Senate Minority Leader Mark Johnson's colleagues have filed an ethics complaint against Champion. In the complaint, they allege Champion broke two Senate rules by appropriating money to a legal client without disclosing the client relationship. Champion has declined multiple interview requests, but in a statement, he said conflict of interest rules cover situations with financial benefit, and that because my work in this matter occurred in the past and was unpaid, there was no potential conflict to disclose. Earlier this week, Champion voluntarily asked the Subcommittee on Ethics to review his case.
There's an ethics review right now in the Senate President Bobby Joe Champion. Do you believe he had a conflict of interest with the budget?
Well, they'll find that out, but I think it's a point in here that I am just going to state. I believe you need the strongest ethics requirements.
Governor Walz says Champion deserves due process, but he also supports stronger ethics rules, including making the legislature subject to the state's open records laws.
I believe the inability of the legislature to have to adhere to data practices stops all of you from being able to find some of the things that are necessary to make sure there's accountability.
This week, DFL Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy also said she won't comment on Champion's case while the ethics process plays out, but said there might be some gray area in the rules.
Because we're a part-time legislature and many people have jobs outside of here, we find ourselves in that box, which for me means I think it's time for us to take a look again at what we mean as a standard on the conflict of interest, so members doing good work for the people of Minnesota don't get caught in that gray area.
Now, while this ethics review is ongoing in the Senate's Ethics Subcommittee, Champion has been temporarily removed as chair of that same subcommittee. If the committee ultimately finds that Champion broke any rules, he could potentially face some sort of discipline.
Well, what's the discipline? What, he gets kicked out, he goes on suspension? What does that mean?
It could be a broad, wide range of things. It may even be just something like it could be like having to do more training around conflict of interest rules. So it really would be up to the committee. It could be really any number of things.
So we heard from Democrats, we heard from Republicans. Is there anything that you're hearing in the legal community? Did he break any sort of legal ethics in their view?
When I spoke to University of Minnesota attorney or legal expert Richard Painter, who was in the Bush White House as an ethics lawyer, he said that really the issue was not disclosing this. He said that actually, in his opinion, that if this had been disclosed up front, hey, I represented this person pro bono, then it might not have been an issue, but the transparency was in his mind what was lacking.
Oh, makes sense. All right, Danny, thanks for covering this week. It's been an important story. We appreciate it.